All right, we're live.
We are live. It is the second meeting of the Simple Programmer team on the Entreprogrammers
Basically,
podcast.
yeah.
So Chuck is at what? He's doing freelance conf. He needs to stop scheduling these stupid conferences during our meeting time.
I know, I know. We gotta talk to him about that.
And then Derek is having internet issues, so we'll see if he
Yeah,
makes it.
yeah. So, what's new?
This is going to be weird because you kind of already know everything. um, all right. Well, so one thing we haven't talked about at all is I got those Hue remote controlled lights,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and so I actually almost returned them this week when I first tried them out. But I'm thinking now I might keep them for a while. So so far the main thing that I don't like is that they see, for some reason, they're only available up to 60. Well, they're only available in 60 watt.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, like I got the Philips Hue remote controlled lights, and you can get bulbs that are compatible from, I think, GE and some other, it's like Cree,
Right.
company
That
called Cree. Yeah.
work with that base station that like.
Yeah,
does
they work.
everything.
Yeah, exactly. They work with the same base station, but those are also only available in 60 watt. So
Oh
I
really?
don't. Yeah, so I don't know what the deal is with that. You can get LED bulbs in 100 watt equivalent,
Yeah.
and that's actually what I want. I'd settle for 75, but I'd like 100 watt for the basement because it's kind of dingy down here. So far that's the only thing I'm not liking. They're like in the morning when the sun hasn't come out yet, it's a little dingy down here.
Yeah.
And the color's a little off from what I would prefer. It's a little bit, it's kind of like a little bit greeny yellow, kind of like more like a fluorescent light than the warmer or like yellowy orange of a incandescent.
Well, what color temperature did you get? Like
I think they're the 2700
Calvin?
Kelvin, which is supposed to be
So that should be
warmer.
warm light. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you
But I'm
should be
not.
in the cool.
Yeah, I'm not 100%. Let me check on that while I'm talking.
I like bright whites.
Yeah, we have a bright white bulbs in our bathroom, and it kind of depends what room. I like the yellow for a room that I want to be a little more cozy.
Yeah.
So let me see, Hue. So I
What
got
I
the Hue
yeah.
starter kit.
What I'd like to do is I'd like to get bulbs that just like how flux works. So because you want the warm
Yeah.
light at
Yes.
night and you want the bright light during the day, the blue
Yes.
color.
Yep.
So that'd be kind of cool to change the color temperature. So, at nighttime, what we did in our house here is we've got kitchen lights, and we don't automatically do this, but like in the kitchen we put all the bright whites, and then in the living room we put all the cool or the warm lights. So the idea is like you during the daytime you switch on one and then
Mm-hmm.
switch the other one because it's kind of the same area, but I'd like to have it automatically switch over.
Yeah, there's actually really no reason that they can't do that because they have color changing bulbs. So
Exactly.
I think that's just a matter of time. But yeah, I would like the same thing, as long as you had a lot of control over how subtle it was, because the flux can get really obnoxiously orange
Yeah.
at night. It can
Yeah.
get it's pretty heavy duty. But yeah, so I got it was super easy to set up. It took me like 5 minutes to get them set up.
Yeah.
And then so what I did is I've actually set up, so I'm really liking the timer capability. So
Oh,
you can
right.
set alarms. They call them alarms, and they basically are just, it's kind of like Nest, the way you can have Nest come on at certain times, just change the temperature throughout the day. So what I have is I have my lights come on before I come downstairs in the morning for work. So it's already lit when I come down here, which is kind of nice.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And then I also set it up so that at 12 p.m. on Friday, my floor lamp behind me turns off automatically, because I do that manually every week, because it glares, like it's backlights me so that I'm dark on the podcast. So that goes off automatically, and then it'll come back on when we're done at 2 p.m. So that's pretty cool. And then I also set up some groups. So I've got a group that I call my treadmill setting. So when I'm on my treadmill, I always turn off the overhead light, because it glares on my screen. So now I can use Siri to turn the overhead light off, and which is actually less convenient than just flipping the switch. What I originally tried to do was set it up so that I had a timer, so that when I was going to get on my treadmill, it would just automatically turn that light off. But I figured out that my schedule in the morning varies enough that I can't really reduce it to a rule. So like the other day, we had a call in the morning, you and I hopped off the treadmill, and then the light came back on, actually just as I was getting on it. It was like, okay, well that's useless. But you can also get hardware switches for, like, a hardware dimmer slash switch.
So you have either.
Yeah, and I think that's what I'm gonna do at some point here, for these basement lights. But
yeah, when I had gotten the lights, I had the iPhone app, and it's just like you need the hardware switch as well, because it's kind of annoying.
Yes, yeah, it's annoying to always have to mess with your phone whenever you want to.
And then your wife is always like, I just want to switch. I don't want to do this on my phone.
Well, and the funny thing is,
how cool this is.
Well, yeah, I'm the same way, actually. So when I was doing digital photography, one of my big things was I always wanted physical buttons.
Yeah.
And it actually I was not a fan of the iPhone for the longest time, because I had a BlackBerry. And I really liked those physical buttons. Still the BlackBerry keyboard destroys any kind of screen typing.
Yeah.
But what I figured out is that with the lights here, I can just flick the switch down and then up. So I have to leave it on all the time, but I can flick it down and then up to turn it off.
Right. Yeah.
So like turn it off and then back on, and then my timers and everything will still work. So
the ultimate one that I want is like, I want to have like a home automation system where it reads intent, where you don't even have to speak. Like, it's just gesture based. Like, it sees you're looking at the light and you make a gesture, and then that turns it on. Or like you're looking at the TV and you go like that and it turns it on, or you go like this to change the channel. It's like, very intuitive.
Yeah.
Based.
The problem with that stuff is that it's so easy to trigger. Like, I've found that at any time, maybe we'll get there at some point, but right now, that kind of automation stuff, I always find it to be way more annoying than helpful. Because like Siri, okay, Siri's a good example. I can say, "Hey Siri," and it'll supposedly listen to me. But that thing triggers at least 10 times a week.
Right.
For nothing. It would happen all the time, except like I usually have my phone in my pocket. But yeah, it triggers like, every few hours, probably, when if I was just sitting there talking, it would probably trigger at least once during this podcast.
It's just, we've got the technology. It just hasn't been applied to this space, because, if you can have self-driving cars that can drive down the road and anticipate traffic and brake and obstacles and navigate, I'm sure that you can build the intelligence.
Yeah, well, we're self-driving cars aren't there yet either. They can drive around the Google campus.
No,
on a flat.
They're out in the wild. There's like a few that are out.
No, I know, but I've been reading about this a lot, actually, and pretty much the ones that are out on public roads are all like basically driving around the Apple and Google, or the Google campus particularly. But it's flat. It's the driving conditions are optimal, and they still get into. They're getting better about not getting into accidents, but right now, like they're still pretty fragile. Like, they need to have everything needs to be pretty optimal for them. And that's what I find with automation stuff is like, how often do you gesture? Like, if you had something that was gesture based, I mean, who doesn't talk with their hands?
No, it'd have to read intent though. It has to say, given the context, it has to say, okay, you just came in the room, their light is off. Normally
Mhm.
when you're in the room, the light is on, and you're looking at the light and the gesture is in the direction of the light. So you know what I mean? Like it's got to
Yeah,
read multiple
that would be, yeah,
things.
that would be probably be useful.
And then also like it could also, you know, the context like for false gesture. Well, there's a lot of talking going on right now. It looks like two people are communicating. So that gesture probably I should ignore. It looks like it's just a communication gesture.
Mhm.
You know, so I think you could get to the point of having
Yeah.
that level of
Yeah,
intelligence.
I think it'll get there eventually, but we're still pretty right now. I find that every time even voice recognition stuff, like every time I try to use it, I feel like it takes me 2 or 3 times longer
Yeah,
than
exactly.
just whatever the manual entry would be.
But here's the thing also with the whole voice recognition that like, I mean, it okay, so think about how stupid of an interface a keyboard is, right? I mean, in order to be able to type words on a keyboard, you have to basically learn uh, how many keys do we have on a keyboard, right? You have to
Hmm.
learn how to hit those keys without looking at them, all the letters of the alphabet and numbers and symbols, right? Just to be able to input data into this system. So what I'm saying is that like the reason why voice systems don't work is not because the technology sucks, although it's not the best yet, but it's I think we're at a point where it's good enough. It's just that we're not willing to invest the same amount of effort and time into voice recognition systems and using them properly as we are into typing, learning to, if you invested the same amount of time, if you're like, oh, I'm just going to start using Siri for everything, and I'm gonna get good enough to be able to do this, and you invest the same amount of time as you did to learn to type, you could probably do like it would probably then become easier. It's just that we don't view it in the same way. Like you
Hmm.
know what I mean? It's like we're not willing to make that investment.
Well, that's a really interesting analogy. Couple thoughts on that. So first of all, the main advantage of the keyboard, the reason that the keyboard is superior right now, is because it allows you the chance to edit
Right.
your
Yeah.
thought. It actually slows you down a little bit in some ways versus talking. But when you're talking, you can't you don't compose your thoughts as clearly as you do when you're editing
Well, you can. I
or
mean,
when
there's
you're
some people
writing.
that are really good at dictation, and I mean, for example, like if you do stuff with Siri, like voice dictation, like the proper way to do it is actually to say like the the red fox jumped over the lazy brown dog, period, you know, or hey Josh, comma, this, you know, this is
Yeah.
what I want to say, period. Strike that, right? And you can, I mean, you can actually do all the punctuation and, you know, and
Yeah, but
back
I
up a
think
word. And
everything that you just described takes longer via voice than via keyboard. And you can't and the right now the technology is a lot slower than you, so you have to wait for it to catch up.
if,
So
yeah,
you're speaking, and then Siri's 3 to 5 words behind you, you make a mistake. Now you're editing something that you can't even see because it hasn't appeared yet.
it'd be an interesting experiment to take away the keyboard and just have to operate in a voice to see, because I think you'd
Like that
get fast.
Scottish elevator video.
Yeah, I think you'd get fast enough, though. I think you would get to the point. I'm assuming that the technology was fast enough to read the input. I think you could get to the point where you could actually dictate faster than you could type.
I don't think we're there yet. I mean, because like the other thing, so the other thing is like things. So with Siri, like when I try to make a note, so I use with my headset when I'm out and about, I use the Siri to do reminders like
Right.
tasks, and then I use it for SMS and like what a lot of times I'll say, "Hey Siri, remind me to email John." Well, it hears email and it's like it tries to compose an email, and I'm just like, "Ugh."
Yeah.
You know, it's still really primitive.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's a pretty. I mean, if they can't even get the remind me to prefix to work consistently, like that's just it's still really not there. And like things like keyboard shortcuts. I mean, like, hey Siri, brighten my screen. Hey Siri, brighten my screen. Like the step up the brightness.
Right.
I don't know. Keyboard right now, physical buttons are still way faster
Yeah,
for a lot
yeah.
of tasks. And I mean, how much easier is it to hit Command Delete or Control Backspace to backspace a word than to say, or backspace 3 words than strike that, strike that, strike that.
I don't know. I don't know. I guess it depends on. I mean, it's so easy to hit that because you're used to it, but
Well, just in terms of the amount of time, it's like a fraction of a second versus 1 to 2 seconds. And you multiply that over any kind of longer document.
yeah, I don't know. I think if you got good enough at it, that would be pretty close. I know some people that I've talked to that are really good at dictation, and they're able to do a lot more with it than I can do. But
Yeah, I've tried it a few times with like Dragon and stuff, and every time I just get
yeah,
really frustrated.
yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see what happens, but it'll advance. I mean, we'll eventually get to the point. The problem,
Yeah,
to me, the reason why I don't invest in it is the speaking out loud is not doesn't you know it doesn't work all the time. Like it's not a good thing to rely on, and you don't always want to say everything out loud.
exactly. Yeah.
There's a sub vocalization. I saw this technology that is able to read sub vocalization.
Mm,
So like it basically has like an electrode, and if you sub vocalize, if you think like as if you're going to say something, like it causes electrical signals to be sent to your voice box, essentially to your muscles in your throat, that it can pick up on, and so it can read the sub vocalization, and that would be
interesting.
extremely useful, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, the yes, that would something like that. The problem with that, like if it gets to the point where it's thought based or something like that, is that you think non-linearly, right? You'll get like 3 or 4 ideas. Like you're sitting there writing something, 3 or 4 ideas will kind of splinter. Your
Yeah.
like your focus will splinter, and then if it's just transcribing all that, now you've got a complete mess.
No, but you have to actually have to sub vocalize like
Yeah,
if you're saying it. But
yeah, that would actually be. I mean, if that plus, because the other thing for me is it feels really dorky to me to walk around saying, "Hey Siri, turn my lights on."
right,
Like,
exactly. Yeah.
um, and I just feel stupid even doing it when my wife's in the room,
Yeah.
and I certainly wouldn't want to be sitting there all the time having to type emails that way, out loud. Would just
Exactly.
be
Yeah.
really annoying. And 90 to 95% of the time when I'm working on something, if I'm not in my office, like I don't want to be like it would be obnoxious or just an invasion of privacy to be sitting there like babbling into my phone.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. 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 We'll see. It'll be interesting too. I think the eye tracking also has the potential to like just especially when you have something like a visor or ocular implants or again it has to be context driven where you could
Yeah.
quickly or even just wired into the nervous system. I mean, people learn to use artificial limbs by to
Hmm.
move their leg by connecting a nerve that used to be part of their back muscles. So like your
Yeah.
brain, with that tight of a feedback loop, you could probably do some pretty awesome stuff that
Hmm.
would operate. And you don't accidentally move your leg when you're thinking about moving your leg,
Right.
right? There's like
Right.
a clear. So we do have that capability. It's kind of weird. Like I'm often driving and I'm like, what prevents me? How come people don't accidentally do this? But you just
Yeah.
cannot do it. No matter
Yeah.
how hard you try, it's not going to happen because you've got sort of like a safety mechanism built into your brain that doesn't
Yeah.
allow you to do something that would be fatal.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see where this goes. For now, we'll just have to type. We'll just have to peck away.
Yeah.
But,
I'm happy to do that for now.
yeah.
But yeah, actually the reason I almost returned the lights was that the so when you create the groups, so you create these they call them scenes
Yeah.
in the app, and it's actually really counterintuitive to like I wanted to have one light on and the other off. And so I had one selected and the other one not selected. Well, that actually was just telling it to ignore the other light completely.
Yeah.
What I wanted was for it to be included, and then you have to include it. So you check mark both of them, and then turn the brightness slider all the way down, which was like really, really odd. So what would happen is if I turned all the lights off first, my groups would work correctly. But if they were both on, it was just like nothing was happening. And I actually thought that the app was buggy, and I almost returned it. Like it's like definitely a usability issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to kind of think like a programmer. So then I put my programmer hat on. I was like, oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
So I wonder how many returns they get just based on that. But yeah, overall I'm liking them.
Cool. Yeah, I'll have to see when I move into my house what I'm going to plan out what I'm going to do. So
Yeah. But I think I'm probably gonna just get regular 100-watt bulbs for the rest of the house, and maybe I might use these. I was thinking about putting these upstairs in the. We have a chandelier in the dining room that would be kind of nice because we could dim that, and it would be like we could have like candlelight type of atmosphere up there sometimes.
yeah.
So I might do that and just replace these with the regular 100-watt equivalents, but we'll see.
Cool. So there was something I was going to bring up. Oh, I got that video recorded finally for the.
Sweet. Did it go as well as the first one?
I don't know if it went as well as the first one. The first one without any sound was awesome. Read my lips.
Or at least you can always there's no proof that it was awesome, so
yeah,
you can always it can live on in your memory that way.
Exactly. So we'll see. I mean, I think the one that I did should be fine. Rodrigo will edit it. He's kicking butt. That guy's just awesome. Did you see? He said he could do the PDF for the.
Oh, sweet. Oh, awesome. Yeah, I actually was thinking. I'd like to just do the PDF first. Maybe you could tell him this. I'd like to just do the PDF first and then come back and update the post.
Oh, and then update the PDF.
And then update the PDF. I mean, like it wouldn't be that much extra work to go back in and update it because he's just gonna because I just would like to get that up and test it out.
Oh, yeah.
Sooner rather than later.
That's true. I guess we could do that, and then we could just tell them that we're gonna update. Make it so that we can update. Just keep in mind.
Yeah, I mean, it would probably be like an extra 15 to 30 minutes to update it at most. And it's gonna take him a lot more research time to update the blog post than it will to update the PDF.
So one good way to update this post is to post on Twitter the link to it and say
what's missing. Oh, yeah. That's brilliant.
That's what I did last time, is what's missing and what's not.
Oh, that's great.
What's dead. And then people will contribute to it, and then we can just go and put in the new ones and delete the old ones. So that's
great.
A good way. But yeah, that post is good I think having the downloadable list will definitely work. We also need to get a featured image for that. I'm looking at this now, and it's like it's part of a Rode podcaster mic.
Yeah,
it's like one of our key content pieces.
Yeah, this is like this is one of our top 10 for sure.
I think we could hire 5 people, and we would be able to have enough work. Like, there's so much possible work to be done.
I know.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I know. It's gonna be. I'm definitely gonna be. Well, it would be nice to have somebody at some point to do some of this grunt work in Drip.
Yeah.
Like
we'll have to get a junior marketing person.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah.
But so how's your site Is it staying up?
Yes, yeah, it has stayed up so far. So I think
So
it
I'm a
seems like,
Linux genius.
yeah,
Like,
creating that swap file apparently was, I think it really was just a memory, and I guess that explains why the Entreprogrammers site was crashing too, because that only had 512 megs. Maybe when we originally built it, it had that HVVM enabled, and now it doesn't.
no, now it has it, I think, and
Oh,
before
does
it
it?
didn't.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know, but I mean, it was definitely seems like it was a memory issue on your
Yeah.
server at least. So
Yep.
it's good
I mean,
that
it's possible that it wasn't being caused by that HVVM. Like, it could just, because it seemed like a lot of people were having this exact same issue. It was the error establishing database connection. If you Google that, and if
yeah.
you Google DigitalOcean and error establishing database connection, you will get some angry threads, like long angry threads of people really frustrated having the same exact issue.
Well, it's likely a memory issue because I mean, think about it. If it's DigitalOcean, right? They
Mm-hmm.
have a $5 server that has
Mm-hmm.
500. That's what we were running Entreprogrammers on. So,
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of people are going to be signed up for that server,
Yep.
and the people who pay $5 a month, as we know, are the most pissed off people when they don't get what they paid for, right?
Right. Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
the only people who are more angry about not getting what they paid for are people who buy a 99-cent app.
Yeah.
Those are the like they will kill you over not getting it.
Drag you into
Paying
the
their
street and
99
burn
cents
you
for it.
alive.
Yeah. So, well, that's good. So 10 steps and Dev Career Boost. That server seems to be stable now. That was
Yeah.
pissing me off. Someone was attacking it specifically, I think, with
Yeah.
XML RPC
Well,
vulnerability. So
it's possible. I mean, that's basically like the number one attack on any WordPress site. So it's possible that we just got picked up in some kind of scan, some kind of sweep, and
but why would you keep on hitting it? Like,
um,
and it was also hit at different times. It was like some script kiddie woke up and was like, "Oh, I should take down 10 steps to learn anything quickly today." And let
yeah,
me mess with those guys. So because it was like at certain times that it would. So
yeah. Well,
anyway,
I had a problem with my Linode. I had this thing where this happened like maybe half a dozen times where I would get an email from Linode saying your site has been using 120% CPU for the last 6 hours. I'm
yeah,
like, oh, gee, thanks for telling me this now. So I of course the site wouldn't load because it was just completely overloaded. So I would log into, I'd SSH in, and I'd look at the incoming connections, and there was always like one stupid IP, one or two IP addresses that had like 200 open connections, and of course Apache was like brought to its knees by that. So I would just use IP tables and ban them, and then it would go away. And then they'd spin up another one,
yeah.
and it was I think they mostly were coming out of Brazil.
Okay, yeah.
And then that happened like maybe half a dozen times, and then it stopped happening, and then I had that new attack start, and I don't know what was causing that, but that was really bad. That was like just ongoing for more than a week, which is why I
Yeah.
finally moved off.
We were still getting hit yesterday. Simple Programmer went down. I hardened up turned off XML RPC on there too, and I think that
Okay.
I don't know. There might have been
Does that
open there, but
did that disable Jetpack, the
well,
WordPress?
it's weird. It's like no, yes and no. Like it's connected, but some of the features of Jetpack are not able. So
Yeah,
it
the
can't do
auto
update,
updating. Yeah.
which is it's nice to have the auto update. They need to fix that though, because this is kind of ridiculous. Like who in their right mind leaves XML RPC open on their WordPress site? It doesn't make any sense because you're gonna get nailed. Like
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there's some way around it. Like, apparently, there's like two major attacks. There's like a pingback attack, and there was this brute force login. But the thing is, like I think, you know, we had the WordPress protect on there, and it was still getting hit. So there
Mm-hmm.
must be some other things that you can do. I think there's just a whole bunch of nasty stuff you can do with XML RPC. So
Yeah.
they need to fix that and have some other way to connect, or some, you know, some way to secure that, because that's
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even if it was just as simple as an easy way to whitelist, you know, and have
yeah.
it block everything else and then just whitelist the WordPress.com
Oh, I could do that. I could do
name.
that. I guess
Yeah,
I
I
could
mean,
do that.
but I think it might be hard to know. I guess it would depend what the incoming requests looked like, because
With that IP, yeah.
it would be hard to know. Yeah, I guess if they had the static IPs, or if there was a way to do it by domain or something.
It's funny, every 6 months or so, I have to dust off my Linux skills and like remember how to investigate logs and get people to not destroy our server and secure things and change Nginx configurations and varnish configurations and all that stuff. So I'm at expert level now, but in a few weeks I won't
Yeah,
be.
yeah. It deteriorates. It's
It
like
was frustrating as hell though. Like I lost like at least 3 days worth of work just like trying to troubleshoot that stuff.
yeah.
So I don't know. I put it on our list to look at Pagely, investigate that. I think what I want to do is just get a server up on their like $400 a month plan,
Hmm.
and just duplicate Simple Programmer there and speed test it and load test it a bit and see how that is. Because if it's as fast or faster, I'll pay $400 a month and we'll just move all the sites to it, and
Yeah,
that'll be
that would
fine.
be pretty much the same as what we're paying now, right?
Yeah, pretty close. I mean, it'll be a little bit more
A little
expensive,
bit more. Okay.
but yeah. So, but the thing, I mean, it doesn't matter at this scale. Like, as long as the thing that always has stopped me from doing this in the past has just been like, on DigitalOcean, we're getting like, what is it, 16 gigabyte RAM? You know, like
Hmm.
we're getting a extremely beefy server for like $200 a month, and I know that on Pagely they're going to give you, what is it, like, it was like 4 gig of RAM or less, three
Yeah.
and a half gig or something like that, like a much skimpier. Now, if they're optimized a lot better, then maybe they can overcome it. But then in the back of my head, I'm like, well, can't we just install Redis and like then we
Well,
could be 10
yes.
times as fast.
Yes, we could. Yes, we could. But then your surface area just, expanded of what you
Yeah,
have to know,
maintain.
and potentially, the attacks that we've, I don't know, made ourselves more vulnerable to different kinds of attacks, and who knows.
Yeah, if we could find, yeah,
It's
I
just,
debate back and forth between saying, okay, let's run our own servers on DigitalOcean like we're doing, and have like an expert Linux guy. That what I want though is not just an expert Linux guy. I want someone who who is an expert at optimizing WordPress, is to make
yeah.
it as fast to optimize WordPress, make the site as fast as possible, and secure the Linux server,
Hmm.
and be able to handle those tasks. Like if we could
Basically,
find
I think anybody that we find like that is going to be probably a lot more expensive than what we're going to, I mean,
I
unless
guess
we,
so, yeah.
yeah, I mean, if we find somebody in Brazil or something.
I mean, I wouldn't mind paying for a few hours. Like, okay, like if we found that person and they were expensive and they could get us set up totally optimized, like the best that we can at the current, like they're up to date. They know, okay, if we run Redis and HVVM and we're going to get rid of varnish and we're going to configure the W3C total cache plugin perfectly, and I'm going to do this, you know, with your CDN to optimize your images and to get, we're going to get as lightning fast as we can, and we I'd spend 5 or 6 hours worth of paying them or whatever
Mhm.
it ends up costing, to because that should be like a one-time thing, and then occasionally we have need some updates and stuff. I mean, one
Yeah.
option is there is WC3 plugin. I don't know if you, when you go to the dashboard on it, they have this paid service to optimize.
Hmm.
It's like $200. It's a flat fee, but I kind of wanted to ask them first, like get a consult before you just pay for it, and just say, hey, look, can you
Yeah.
actually speed this up and do, or are you going to do basic stuff.
Yeah, and I bet like, are they gonna do? Is it gonna be the level that you want, or are they just gonna purely work with WordPress and their plugin? Like,
Yeah.
do the best they like. Are they gonna go into the server and do all that, or are they gonna? I'm betting the answer is no.
Yeah.
Um,
So, I mean, I was playing with it some more yesterday and I ended up getting, I think I've got the site about as fast as I can get it at this point. I don't have HVVM, but you know, I'm still have Varnish and the site, like on the Pingdom, like speed test, it's now coming in as like under a second load.
oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. So now what I did was I'm using that rocket loader on Cloudflare. So I'm afraid that it has the potential to break stuff because it defers JavaScript as much as possible.
Mm,
But I don't know. I mean, when I load up the site, everything looks like it's working right. So we'll have to keep an eye on the opt-in rate to see if there's
yeah.
something that would, but I guess maybe we should try, you should try it hitting the site anonymously in Safari.
Okay.
Like we should have our major things and make sure that the pop-ups show up.
Yeah.
I'm assuming if they show up, you can submit. I don't know if we need to test that, but
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, some of this, the page size is still 2.1 meg, like for the main page, but that's just because it's heavy with images. So we're not going to get
Right.
around that.
I actually was thinking that you should test. Yeah, I'm seeing the scroll mat show up. I'm seeing the slide in. Seeing the ribbon. I'd actually like to get to where the I have fewer opt-ins. So
Yeah.
we'll see. I think like I'd like to dial back as much as possible. I'm going to try to make some of them less aggressive.
Yeah.
Once we get the content upgrades and stuff in place and get the opt-in rate higher overall.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd like to try to optimize the user experience better. It would be
Yeah.
nice to like only show one, like have a maximum number of forms that you show per session. So like if it's going to show the scroll mat, don't also show the ribbon or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's, I don't know. Can't do that right now.
Yeah, but I guess we'll see. I mean, it's weird to see the opt-ins going down today, but that's why I'm suspecting. I don't know if it has to do with it. Yesterday it was really good. So did I break something with that?
Yeah, we'll just have to watch over the next few days and see.
Yeah.
The weekend will be a good test. Just not do anything over the weekend. Right now, I feel like every day we're doing heart surgery on the kicking, flailing patient. You know,
Yeah.
like I'm like in drip and just ripping stuff out and replacing it and hoping that I'm not breaking anything. But
Yeah. Well, once we get a good baseline and we get it stabilized,
yeah,
then we'll be good.
yep.
But yeah, we'll see with that what happens. But yeah, the site should be fast now. But I'll still check. Like I want to see. I mean, if we can offload the whole thing, I mean, it doesn't have to be the fastest, but if it's fast enough, I suppose, and it's one less thing to worry about. If we can go fully managed hosting with a dedicated server and we've got the support we need and we've got it optimized and we don't have to do updates and that, then it probably is worth it. But because it saves us that reason. We never have to it's just one thing that you just pay for and it's done and you don't have to hassle.
Yep. It would be good to check with Pagely on what their list of restricted plugins is too and make sure that's not going to hurt us. Because I know the Genesis, the synthesis hosting, like they don't allow you to use W3 cache or whatever which you wouldn't want to anyway. Exactly. But there's some other plugins that are popular that they don't let you use. So they tend to not let you use stuff that breaks caching.
Yeah,
or that causes a lot of, so like I forget. There were some plugins that would make requests back to the site that they wouldn't let you use, or yeah, I can't remember if it was like a related posts plugin or what, but they don't like they generally don't like plugins that force you to bust the cache regularly.
Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah, I doubt we'll have a problem. One of the reasons why I moved to Thrive Themes also was because it had a lot of the plugin functionality, because I don't want to have as many plugins.
Right.
So Thrive Themes had the social sharing built in, which the plugins, there's some good plugins, but they just kill your performance. And then it has related posts built in as well, which is
right.
cool.
That's nice. Yeah.
And it even has image compression. I'm using a plugin. I'm using Kraken.io because it's supposed to use Kraken.io with the Thrive thing, but when I turned on the Thrive image compression, the sizes of the images were not as small as when I'm using a paid Kraken.io service there. I forgot about that. I wonder how I must have paid it a year in advance. So let our accountant know.
I was gonna say what was I gonna say? We should I forget. Oh, I was gonna say with the speed testing, you shouldn't be testing that. You shouldn't be testing the homepage.
Yeah, I know.
You should be testing some other page, because that's what I mean. Some people come to the homepage, but the real user experience is the other pages, not. And I'll bet they're faster than the homepage. So.
I tested a few other pages as well. It depends on the page.
Yeah, all those there's hundreds, or that almost 200 requests that we were seeing for the homepage. Oh, did you notice? I noticed yesterday that the infinite scrolling wasn't working. Did you turn that off?
It should be working.
It's not working right now.
You might have to bounce up and then back down.
I'm doing that and it's not working at all. I'm in Safari, and I did it also on Chrome.
So that could be the rocket loader.
Yeah.
Not loading fast enough. It might have to do with the connection speed. Maybe I should just turn off that rocket loader.
Yeah.
I don't know, because that I'm seeing it working perfectly fine on my end.
Oh, really? Yeah, I noticed it yesterday that it wasn't working for Chrome, and just now I tried it in Safari and it didn't work there either. So.
Is this on the home page? On the
actual? On the home page.
So let me see. I'm in Chrome on the home page, and yeah, it's working for me. I'm scrolling down. It gets stuck. You have to give it enough time to be able to load the bottom. I have to scroll up sometimes and then scroll back down, and then it loads.
Yeah, I did that a bunch of times and it didn't work.
Okay.
So.
Well, here's a quick test. We can test it live. I'm going to turn the rocket loader off.
Okay, there we go.
Then we'll see if that should be an instant. Let me go into yeah, I originally turned off the rocket loader because there was some problem with, I can't remember what it was, but okay, so
okay, now it just started working.
Oh, I didn't turn it off yet.
Oh, you know what it is? I have to scroll. Oh, interesting. So I have to scroll. The first time I had to scroll all the way to the bottom and kind of push against the bottom.
Yeah.
Which I never had to do before.
Well, try it now, because I just turned off the rocket loader.
All right, let me close Safari try this one more time.
It'll probably be a little bit slower, but.
Okay.
Maybe I should just leave that thing.
It definitely feels a lot faster to me, way faster. Okay, we're trying it in a new private window.
It should still be faster even without the rocket loader, just the few tweaks I did. I need to really look into getting HVVM running, because that's the newer technology. I think we can probably get rid of Varnish. It's
still not it's not working for me right now. I wonder if it might have to do with the the scroll mat shows. It seems like when the scroll mat shows, it's not working.
Oh,
And then the next time it works. Let me try. So the scroll mat might be breaking it. Yep, that seems to be what it is. So if I opened a new private window, scroll mat showed up, scroll down all the way to the bottom, and it didn't do anything. Then I refreshed the page, same private window. So presumably it still has the cookie, and now it's working. So that's interesting.
fun.
Yeah. I also realized I need to go into Thrive and like deselect. We're getting the scroll mat and other stuff showing on the confirmation pages and stuff. So I need to go in and fix that and be more selective about where we show those.
Yeah, you can throw excludes in there, or you can just specify which pages only that it shows up. It's pretty easy to set that up. And then you can save it as a template, so any ones that you set up. Well, I guess we're not going to really create more groups, but at least for now. So but
there's so many like stupid little fiddly things like that we have to do. It's crazy. I think I'm gonna try to get the get stuff squared away in Drip here, and I'm thinking I might do like early next week. I might do like a little bit with the lead magnets. Try to get a couple of maybe work with Rodrigo and try to get a couple of. I'd like to test some content upgrades on a couple of our top posts. The other one I was thinking would be great for the PDF thing would just be the ultimate developer list guide or gift guide.
Yeah.
Although we want to be careful with that because putting the Amazon links in a PDF is not kosher.
Oh.
So that's actually why I was my original plan was to do the gift guide, and then I realized, we have that Amazon link issue that we need to resolve. So why don't we start with the podcast list?
Yeah.
So that was how I came up with that. But we could try it on one or two of the other top posts. And I mean, just basically take the post and turn it into an ebook, like a little mini ebook, and offer it as a PDF download.
And then where do they go from there, though? So
they'll just go to the generic opt-in sequence, and then we'll offer them the blogging course and the learning course, right? So they're gonna, a big chunk of them are gonna end up on both of those anyway.
That makes sense. Oh, okay, yeah, that's a good idea. Okay.
And they'll start to get the nurture emails, which I don't have any nurture emails in place yet, but once I do, they'll probably get a couple of those, and then they'll start to get the offers for the other courses. So
that reminds me, we need to do a sale for March.
Okay.
I'm thinking. Okay. We're about time because the last sale was it Black Friday? Was the last sale?
I think so.
November, December, January, February. So we could actually do one like really soon, I think.
Okay.
Because we want to try and hit one a quarter. I think that's at least one a quarter. Otherwise, we're kind of leaving the table.
We should probably, when we do them, next time we do one, we'll have to do it with a workflow.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then set it up, and then also we'll probably want to tag people that we put into the workflow. So they'll get tagged as like spring, like spring 2016 sale or whatever. Yeah. Just so we know.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That makes sense. Let me add that to the Trello board.
Yeah.
I guess I'll add to the current sprint column.
But yeah, that'll be easy. We can take the emails that you've already got, maybe rework them a little bit. We'll have to figure out what the sale's going to look like, I guess, and then.
Yeah, and then once we get it, we can kind of set it up to reuse it.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And the workflow will make it easy to take people out of the sale sequence once they buy.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, I think with this sale, we could probably do a sale if we do it right. If we put both products on sale, I bet we could pull in 20K on the sale.
That would be nice. Yeah, those will help with the monthly totals too towards the towards the milestones.
Yeah.
Yay.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I think we could probably hit that because our list is like at 23,000, 22, something like that.
Yeah, I think it's almost 22. So
Yeah.
it looks like I was doing some. It's gonna take a few weeks to shake out, but I think I may have increased the list growth somewhere between 50 to 75%.
Nice.
Because it was, yeah, we were averaging, like eyeballing it. It was hard to tell because there were a couple months that were spiky, but it looked like we were averaging 50 to 55 email signups a day.
Yeah.
And this month, we're somewhere between 80 and 100 a day right now. So probably like 85-ish. And then if we can get the content upgrades in place on some of these, I think we'll easily be able to get up over 100 a day. So basically double the list growth.
Yeah. Yep. Cool. That'll make a big difference. But yeah, and then YouTube has been growing like crazy. Now we're on the pace of every 30 days growing by 2,500 subscribers net.
Nice.
So, and the monthly views are like 150,000 average.
Nice. Oh, wow. So that's already, because you just like last month just passed
it was
the
like
120K mark.
So yeah, so it's growing pretty dang fast. We're at almost 18,000 subscribers on the YouTube. So
nice. So that's gonna hit hockey stick pretty. It's probably already is, but it would be interesting to chart that.
Yeah, I mean the goal, my personal goal for this year is to hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube by the end of the year. So, which everyone's like, oh, well, you can't do that at 2,500 a month, but it's exponential growth curve.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I think that we can do it. I mean, we'll have to probably do some big things to get some big chunks of subscribers, but I have a few ideas. I think a few cross promotions with some of the bigger YouTube channels. I think we're in a position to be able to do that now. So
yeah,
that
sweet.
Yeah, but that growth is definitely increasing a lot. We did have some of the spikes you're looking at, like the sales for 10 steps.
You had some YouTube videos come out, right?
Well, so there was this YouTube video that on what happens to older developers.
Yeah.
And then the transcript of that got published on the blog last week, right?
Right.
And then that post got republished to D-Zone, and the D-Zone version of it had 11,000 views.
Okay.
So and it has a direct link for the 10 steps in there.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing a chunk of traffic of sales probably came from there too.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm just wondering, like, we haven't gotten any sales. Basically, like the last day and a half, it's been really dead. And it's weird because we were selling at least 1 or 2 a day. We should be selling, I think we should be selling 2 to 3 a day. What I've seen consistently, and just twice this month we've seen days where we just didn't sell anything, and that's really it's just really weird that happens.
It's weird.
Yeah, and then you'll sell like 5, bang, 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 like right in a row. It's just, what is up with that?
Yeah, there's some things like that are associated with that. I think one of them has to do with revolving around paydays, and as you get further away from the paydays, then there's I think when you get close to a payday, even before the payday, there's enough money left in the budget, so I'm going to buy this thing.
Yeah.
Or right after payday, of course, and then paydays don't always fall on the first and last, because of holidays or weekends. So that I think that's a factor. I think also there's a factor of, like I said, the D-Zone thing. I think also there's a factor of when you first started pumping out the new Twitter cards and stuff.
Yeah.
That and the sign up sheets that I think probably existing. We had to, initially the fruit tree had a lot of fruit on it. So
yeah.
we shook out some of that fruit. So we don't know where we're settling at this point. I mean, it's definitely a lift. We're definitely at a lift, but and then there's also just that random pain in the ass factor. Like, it happens, and it's so frustrating. Like, why the heck is this? Yeah, because
Yeah.
I've seen that happen. There was a
Yep.
period also where no one was signing up for Bluehost for the blogging course, and then all of a sudden a bunch of people signed up. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird because you've got like we have a pretty steady traffic machine, so you'd think that that would be at least even some of this out with as much traffic as you've got. Seems like some of this should be a little smoother than that. I can see. I mean, fluctuations make perfect sense, but to go from like averaging 3 to 5 sales a day to no sales for like 2 days is just weird.
yeah, it
It's just,
is. And we even had the site down,
yeah,
when 10 subs was crashing, and we were still pulling in sales then,
I
but
was
now it's up and we're not having any sales.
I actually went in today and looked and like, did they edit the buy now buttons? Like, did they get access to the site and actually screw up the HTML? And it doesn't look like they did. So
Yeah, so far for February, we've sold 52 copies of 10 Steps to Learn Anything Quickly, 45 copies of the blog course workbook, and 16 copies of How to Market Yourself.
yeah,
So with 10 steps being the highest revenue. I mean, we're on a record revenue for non-sale month regular like product revenue. So
sweet.
that's cool. But
Yeah,
we'll
the
see.
yeah, we'll see. I think we're gonna see. Oh, the other thing I haven't done yet. I think I have a card for this, but I'm gonna take everyone who hasn't gone through the how to learn the learning course yet
Yeah.
and dump them into my Plinko machine. So we're going to get a bunch of signups out of the existing list for the new learning course.
Oh, okay, cool.
So maybe we can do that before we do the sale.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
But I wanted to make sure I got everything squared away and working like I wanted to before I did that. So
Yep.
So that should shake out a bunch of sales too.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, but I mean, overall we're on a lift. It is cyclic though, and it's frustrating because
Yeah.
as you watch the numbers come in. Trying to think what else was major that happened. I've got my setup for the YouTube stuff. Oh, I just did an interview this morning with PBS. Like, well,
What?
it's this thing called Road Trip Nation. I don't know if
Okay.
you've heard of it. This
No.
television program. It's a documentary. Someone found a YouTube video and wanted to interview me.
Oh, cool.
They like take these like college or getting ready to go into college, like graduate high school students. They do a road trip around the U.S. and they they interview people like
Okay.
fields. So they did a computer science one, I guess last year. So they interviewed me for not the in-person one, but for their website only because they already did the shoots. So they wanted
Oh,
to
okay.
interview for like an additional. So we'll have, this will probably be a good opportunity because they're going to link to simpleprogrammer.com and it'll be on their site where, it's our perfect audience, right? Or one of our groups, which is newly minted software developers, people getting into
Right.
software development profession. So we should get some traffic from there. If not, at least we get a really good link back.
Yeah.
A high profile link back.
Is that a .org? Is that pbs.gov? No, I think it's PBS.
It's Road Trip Nation is the
Okay.
Road Trip Nation. But anyway, I did that interview this morning and it went pretty well. So
Sweet. Yeah. So far, what I've been working on today anyway is that tagging. So the tagging and drip, getting that squared away. It seems like our new approach of using the custom fields to apply the tag seems to be working. It seems like that's going to work well.
Oh, cool. Good.
Yeah. So I'll have to keep an eye on people coming in and make sure that everybody's getting tagged appropriately. But let's see here. Yeah, so far I'm not seeing anybody coming through that, but I have to go through and update. Basically, I created the utility workflow that applies all the tags correctly based on that metadata, and then I have to go back through all the form. It's really tedious. I have to go back through and edit every single form that we have out there.
Yeah.
And add the stuff to it. So I'm also documenting where we're using the forms, so that if we ever update the form again, I'll know, okay, I have to go to all these places and change it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what's nice about the API, although we still would have to go back and actually, we couldn't really do this with the API because the API connections usually only have tags. So,
oh, I see. Yeah.
I mean, it's a SumoMe API connection only has tags. So I couldn't do this custom
You'd have
custom
to hack the
field
plugin to be able to do it.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, this is work. It's going to work out well for what we are trying to do here, at least until Drip is able to get some kind of way to know, what lead magnet people are using.
Yep. Oh, the other thing that might be slowing down sales too is that sales page thing. The video upsell is not that we've discovered this morning, where people are actually getting the video upsell. So that should, I mean, because if that video upsell has like even a 5% conversion rate, that's going to be like probably one sale a day.
Yeah, so that was helping. Let me look at the analytics on that. Simple Programmer dashboard. Yeah, we were getting, people were definitely watching that. I think I saw somebody on that page for 9 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think the average on that page was like two minutes or something. So let's see if this is showing, if we're getting traffic there now. We might not be getting the traffic to the to that course is a little spiky because of the Twitter cards. So
yeah.
Confirm. We'll check the confirm pages. 5 learning mistakes. I'm not seeing any traffic on there today yet.
Oh, we'll also probably want to change the pinned tweet on my account.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought so too. That was just a card, right?
Yeah. Once we figure out which card is going to do the best, then we should make that one be the pinned one.
Yeah, and I think I'll probably have. I've got a bunch of tweets now that we can just kind of watch and see how they do.
I think it's kind of funny. We were talking about, like, last year, I was talking about removing myself from Simple Programmer.
Yeah.
and now I'm the spokesmodel for, like, my face is on all the
Yeah, oh yeah, that's true. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, you kind of sealed your fate there with the YouTube channel, at least for the near future.
But you know what? It's all right. I've changed my view. I was actually reading a good thing in, I think I mentioned this book to you. It's called I just lost it. Not The Modern Man. It's by David Data. It's
the one about being a man that you were talking about. Yeah. We can run with that for now.
Yeah. Anyway, well, what was that book called? It's called I don't remember it now. Anyway, there's a chapter in there where he talks about, like, I should actually find. Hold on, I'm gonna find this because this is worth, like, this is. I'm gonna actually have to do a video on this because this was my one of my big issues. Digital content. Okay.
My kids are upstairs singing London Bridge is Falling Down. They only know, like, it's Jonah, the middle one. He only knows London Bridge is falling down. London Bridge is falling down. London Bridge is falling. Oh my gosh.
It's called The Way of the Superior Man.
Okay.
Let me go to the read now. Okay. Cloud reader. But this is, I think this is pretty good. I kind of realized this on my own, but then when I read this, I was like, that's pretty awesome. Oh, okay. Well, it's the very first chapter of the book.
Okay.
It's called Stop Hoping for a Completion of Anything in Life. And here's the quote from the very beginning. Most men make the error of thinking that one day it will be done. They think, if I can work enough, then one day I could rest. Or one day my woman will understand something and then she will stop complaining. Or I'm only doing this now so that one day I can do what I really want with my life. The masculine error is to think that eventually things will be different in some fundamental way. They won't. It never ends. As long as life continues, the creative challenge is to tussle, play, and make love with the present moment while giving your unique gift. And then, I mean, it's a really short chapter, but he basically says, like, do what you love to do, what you're waiting to do, what you've been born to do now. And it's interesting because, I mean, you heard me talk about this multiple times on Entreprogrammers here, right? I've said, okay, well, I've retired. Like, I just want to. At first, it was like I just want to like get done and retire, and then I can do what I want to do. And my well, you know, after the date with Destiny, that's when it really shifted, and I was like, no, this is my purpose. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I love to do.
Yeah.
This is what, like, I am reaching people and helping people and like growing a business. And I'm not like going to like try to put this. I mean, we want to put stuff on autopilot so we can do more stuff, not so that we can rest. Because there is no rest. Like, resting sucks. There isn't, like, it's not, there is no gold at the end of the rainbow. There's only like chasing the rainbow continually, and that's the thing. That is life. Life is chasing the rainbow. And so so my view has shifted. So I'm not to the point where I'm like where I want to just get out of this.
Yeah.
Rather,
and we were also talking for the longest time about making it so, like, getting you out of it so that you could go more mainstream. But then we realized that was one of the big things for me coming out of traffic and conversion, is like, we don't need to go mainstream. No, we've got 5 years of runway, 5 years of work to do here that is useful and helpful to people, and at least 5 years. And we just need to stay here for now.
Exactly. Yep.
And this is, I mean, this is so far from being, I mean, we haven't even gone mainstream in the programmer niche, really.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So we got plenty of runway, I think. And, you know, like I said, sometimes I'm still like, well, you know, other people could be used, but there's plenty of people that subscribe to YouTube channel that aren't programmers now. And then they eventually become programmers.
Right.
but when we do, there's still plenty of depth here.
Yep.
And we've got a unique corner in this market that no one else does. So there's no point in diluting at this point. And then I like from that digital marketer conference that the whole idea of finding those cross things, like what else is your audience related, like, interested in, and then stepping into those as opposed to that's a better way to expand and to reach more people than to just say, okay, just, you know, tackling like a huge subject. But
Yep.
So cool. Yeah. So it's kind of funny how that came around. And then it also helps too. Like, I submitted a talk for MicroConf for the attendee talks. I just submitted one about how I went from a single person company ready to pull my hair out and just like tired of doing a bunch of stuff I didn't want to do to a team, and you know, in the pitfalls and stuff, because I think that also makes a significant difference when it's all on me and I have to like, and then it's not as enjoyable, and you're doing all these, you know, tasks that you don't want to do. But at this point now, we've got, you know, we're not quite E-Myth, but we're close. I mean, we've got, you know, teams that, you know, we've got people that work on different things, and we've got a team now. So that, I think that makes a huge difference. Even just having the Slack channel, I think, is awesome now, because now it does feel more like a team and like we're working together. And stuff. So
it's funny, actually. The Slack channel has it kind of just starting that up. I was like, oh my goodness, like John and I are like recreating Track About. You know what I mean? It almost feels to me like I have a job again, but it's like it's more fun this time. Not that, I mean, you know, Track About was not miserable, but it's just it has the same feeling to me of like it feels like, because it's like, okay, well, if we really want to grow this thing, we're going to have to basically do what Larry and Tim did at Trackabout. We're going to have to, we're going to have to be building a team long term, and it's so we have become the man.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's fun. I mean, like, just even having the Slack channel and being able to, like, yank Rodrigo's chain.
Yeah.
I felt bad that I freaked him out with my.
That's funny.
Like, yeah, you're fired. No, I don't think I actually said that, but he was like, oh no.
He's awesome though. He's been kicking butt. I did approach him about the email thing. And I think, as I'm thinking, I wanted to get your idea about it. Let's talk about this publicly.
Yeah. Does Rodrigo listen yet?
I don't know. But like, I think it might actually work out for a couple of reasons. One of them is that one of the main things that the Simple Programmer email that I do with it now is now that we're using the Trello board, is I forward the emails to the Trello.
Yeah.
Edit the subject line because I'm being smart
now. So they're not all what is your blog? What is your blog?
and then they end up going to the board of videos to do, because they're questions, right? And then I have an auto response, like a snippet that I send people that says, I'll answer your question, but so that I don't have to reply back personally to every single one. And so, I mean, he's in the perfect position to do that because he's familiar with every single YouTube video that comes out. So he's also familiar with all the content, so he can find someone, if they've already asked, someone's already asked this question, he can direct them to that.
Right.
And he's good at finding the blog posts and stuff because he's working on that part of it. So he'd probably be able to do probably even a better job than I can. And then he can prioritize the videos. He can just manage that Trello board and tell me which videos, like, oh, this seems like a good question to answer for people. And I can cherry pick some of the ones I like as well. But so he could do that part of the email. And then probably with the blogging course lessons, that's pretty systematic. Like, seems like his English is good enough and in his writing skills. So
we should definitely, the blogging course, I still want to do the Facebook comments or something like that.
Yeah.
For the blogging course. Facebook comments would be interesting too, because it might help us get Facebook fans.
That's true. Yeah.
So we're going to definitely need a Facebook strategy soon, but
yeah.
So I'm actually kind of excited because so Perry has been he's coming out with a new program. He's calling it Maze. So he's calling it Maze 2.0. Maze 1.0 was like basically just his autoresponder strategy, and it's similar. It's kind of what I based our Plinko machine formula off of, where you're cross promoting different email sequences to your subscribers. But now he's got this new program where he's talking about how to extend basically how they're coping with all the crackdowns that Facebook is doing.
Oh yeah.
And it's like basically the same, it's the same concepts that they brushed on at Digital Marketer with like where you're kind of blending image advertising, and because that's all Facebook will let you do.
Right.
And I really found Perry's take on it refreshing, because he's basically saying what I've felt all along is that Facebook and Google don't want you to do anything that works.
Yeah, exactly.
Seriously, because they lose money long term. Like, they make more money having the big dumb companies just doing their stupid brand advertising on Facebook with no way to measure it. Like, they make a lot more money that way.
Right.
And so anytime there's, when you've got somebody who's doing well and like converting well, I think they crack down on that. But basically Perry was like, yeah, that's like, if you do any kind of traditional direct response stuff, they're going to shut you down. So he's got this strategy, and he hasn't put out I'll be filling you in on the strat, because I think you can do this with YouTube as well. It's basically like retargeting, combining retargeting, content So it's taking your nurture emails and extending them out into social media via advertising
Oh,
to
I see.
nurture people. And he had this cool diagram where it was like used to be like your sales funnel was very linear. It was like paid traffic in the left, autoresponder torture, which he calls benevolent Chinese water torture, which I
Yeah.
got a kick out of that.
Nice.
So, you get autoresponder and sales page, and that was kind of it. And now it's more like a spiral where you've got the inner circle is like your autoresponders and your email list, and then you've got tendrils that go out,
Oh, I
and
see.
you're trying to pull people in deeper and deeper with your advertising. Like the goal is to nudge them deeper into the funnel. Not you can't go straight from the outer edge to the inner sanctum anymore.
Oh, that makes sense. It's because you can retarget people, and it could almost be like an email sequence, and
Yes.
you can just be like, okay, here's the first gate. So
Yep.
I'm going to show you this one ad. This is the intro ad, and I'm moving you on that scale of,
Yep.
of the
The awareness, state of
awareness.
awareness stuff. Yep.
And then you just say, okay, now everyone who's gone to the second, who's clicked this, we'll
Mm-hmm.
hit them with this targeting pixel, different
Yep.
one, and now they're at stage 2, and then we'll show them a different ad, and then we just keep on showing that ad until they fall into stage 3, and
Yep.
then at some point we know that they're ripe for the conversion,
Yep.
and we can just send them somewhere where they'll, where they will opt in or buy something,
Yep.
a tripwire thing, and then we'll have the email.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and so he said in passing that he's gotten 10 to 25-cent clicks with this strategy. I think I'm actually going to press him a little bit and try to get some detail.
Yeah.
As far as like, because I know when I was helping him with his evolution book, I know and he mentioned this in the webinar that I was on. He said he was paying $10 a lead for that.
How about as a case study?
What's that?
How about us as a case study?
Us
Tell them
as a
we
case
have,
Oh.
yeah, think about this. Okay, we have
Oh.
a successful back end, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have done no paid advertising, pretty much zero paid advertising,
Oh,
right?
interesting.
So
Yeah.
it's guaranteed success for him because we have
Mm-hmm.
products that we know sell, and we are able to do this from organic traffic only, and to make a decent revenue. So if we can if he can get us working with paid advertising, he can basically, like, it's a guaranteed success on his end, because if it works, it's gonna make money. We know the product sells. That's the biggest, I think, risk in doing something like this, is that, well, what if it doesn't sell and we do this? So we've got the funnel, we've got the back end. If and if it works for us, then it would work for someone else. So
I'll
I
have
think
to
maybe
think.
we could.
I'll have to think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, because it's because we really need to get this. If we could get this working, and the thing I like about it, so the thing that sucks about social media in general is how time consuming it is if you're going to do it right.
Yeah.
And this is like a way to do a really, really good job and do it like give people really good content and have a really good user experience without having to spend 20 hours a week on Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the webinars, I know kind of some of what he's doing because I've been, I've been on some email threads and stuff, but I'm looking forward to this product. It's coming out over the next few weeks, so I'll fill you in on the details as it rolls out. But
cool. Okay. Yeah. You should mention to him, though, if you can.
Yeah.
The other nice thing about it is that we're not in the marketing niche, so
Right.
we make a good case study because we're actually selling
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, that'd be awesome. That's another one of those top 25 influencers. Who do you know? Who?
Yeah.
Question.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, and that's a good test of like a good strategy. Like a good idea or strategy is one where you give someone a little bit of it, and then they're like, "Duh."
Right.
That's how you start describing that. Immediately, I was like, "Oh, duh! How did I miss
Yeah.
it? So obvious."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like one of those things where once you start to connect the dots, it's like boom, 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 boom. All the other ones fill in immediately.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, because that's essentially that is what you're doing, what you've been doing all along. and it's
Right.
just a way of doing it with paid traffic, so it's a little more you know,
Yes,
you can push your influence out, you have more control over it versus waiting for it to come to you.
Right, exactly. Yep.
So the other thing that I liked about that I like about this is it's still he said in the webinar where he was kicking the thing off, he's like, this is still email centric. Like you still have, and this is what I've been saying to people who have been talking about doing this like branding style approach. You still have to get people onto your email list. Like you're not going to be able to sell on Facebook, period. Like you're just not. And if email does die ever, you know, as a medium, we're in big trouble because you can't really, I mean, you can, Facebook is even more hostile to selling than they are to getting opt-ins.
Yeah.
So like, where are you going to sell? Like you still have to be able to get people somewhere that you can have a conversation with them without worrying about Big Brother slapping you around.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's true. Cool. Well, yeah, it'd be awesome to get that piece going.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Rodrigo could probably do the email stuff, and then I mean I asked him about it. He's up for it. He wants to do more and more, so he'll eventually become full time, I think.
We have to be really careful that Rodrigo doesn't become the who was it in the E-Myth? Was it Fred or whatever? Like the person that, because he is one of those rock stars that you want to just give everything to.
Yeah.
But initially, I mean, as long as we're having him, we'll have to think carefully about what roles he's actually filling, and then make sure that we have those documented. And you've been doing some of that already, but yeah, he's definitely one of those, like all three of us are like kind of those rock star type of performers who will, you know, kind of like Shuba at Trackabout. It's like if Shuba ever leaves, that's big trouble.
Yeah, well, that's why the key is documenting the processes and getting it so someone can do it. Like, I mean, the reason why Rodrigo was able to take over the YouTube and to take over the blog and the Simple Programmer podcast was because that was all documented, right? So it's like you could just immediately pick that up. So as long as we're in that and we figure out, we'll have to go through and figure out what the roles are. But it's weird going from like now like that step of now we're actually like a company as opposed to the lifestyle business. We're moving from that, which is good. That whole traffic and conversion thing really made me like change my mindset of like, okay, this is not we are not going to be a lifestyle business. We are going to be a company. So.
Yeah, and I think that was some of the friction that I was having mentally in some of our discussions about the whole like just about like passive income and the lifestyle business stuff. Like the problem with the passive income thing and the lifestyle business is doable in the short term, but the problem is there's always going to be, you're always building that on shifting sand. Like, you know, like a lot of people, so you've got a blog, you know, say you've got a blog that gets 50,000 page views a month. Well, that's going to last for some amount of time. Right. You don't know how long that's going to last. It's going to, you know, if your entire business is based on Google AdWords, well, Google this week just axed the right column ads. So now they went from 10 slots, 10 advertising slots available to 4. Well, guess what just happened to ad prices?
Exactly, right.
So if you had a lifestyle business where you were, you know, making $1, spending $1 and making $1.10, now you're going to be spending $1.50 and making $1.10. You're done.
Yeah.
And you know, you're like a lifestyle businesses are always some kind of hack around some sort of cheap traffic that's not going to be there in the long term.
Right, exactly.
So,
and I mean, you know, the whole 4-hour work week is not a myth. It's true. Like you can do it. Like you can have a lifestyle business and then you can get it going and then spend a few hours a week to keep it going, but you're not going to be growing it.
Well, and really to get that to work sustainably, you have to build a small company.
Right. Yeah.
And that's really what Tim Ferriss did. Like he had I don't know where he was getting his traffic from for the supplements that he was selling, but he had some kind of team managing that. So, so if Google AdWords goes down the toilet, well, he can replace them with a Facebook team. But yeah, I mean, you've got to have, you have to build a small company around that. Basically, the 4-hour work week can't be for everyone.
No.
It's for people who are smart enough to put all the pieces together, and then they need 20 people to work in their 4-hour a week business. If it's going to last longer, that's the irony of it. If it's going to last longer than, a year or two.
Yeah.
You need hamsters to run in the hamster wheel. Exactly. Which plenty of people are very happy to do and have no aspirations to do anything other than that. So
yeah, which is totally fine. So,
yep.
But yeah, so definitely we're making that transition, which is good. So
yep.
It's difficult process, but
yeah, I've definitely been having a lot of fun though. It's been nice to just have more human contact throughout the day and not have it's nice to just like with client work, I had some human contact, but it was usually either, somewhat tense, like it was higher stakes, right? So, if you do something and the website goes down, or I do something and screw up a bunch of stuff in Drip, well, we can be honest with each other about that. Like with a client, it's kind of like, oh my goodness,
Exactly. Well, plus you're also working towards the common cause.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
Like that was the whole thing. Like when we were at Track about why I was pushing for the whole like pair programming, it wasn't so much as the speed improvement, it's the morale improvement, really.
Yeah.
Because like if you're working together with someone, otherwise you're isolated and it's not as much fun. But at least if you have someone else that you're working with, then you have that, we're kind of wired for the camaraderie, for the to be on teams essentially.
Yep.
Tribe, essentially.
Yeah. We got away from that, but before I left we had gotten away from that. But I actually felt like we had little tiger teams. So we had the smartphone team was like 3 or 4 developers. Oh, and we had our own Slack room and everything. So I felt like I got that same sort of level of, and actually felt like the pair programming with, the pair programming thing with what I was doing would probably have been less productive, because I spent a lot of time researching iOS, like stupid quirks in iOS, and that's like a waste of time. Like if you can't just sit down and write the code together, I would spend probably 10% of my time actually writing code, and a lot of it was just boilerplate, like copy and paste. When you were telling me that story about your Java class and all the stupid boilerplate you had to write for those enumerators and stuff, I was feeling the iOS pain all over again, because there were entire screens that I wrote that were like just copy and paste from another. Like every time I needed to use a table, which was every screen, there was all this painful boilerplate that I had to recreate every time. It was just, oh my goodness.
Yep.
iOS.
But I was at first opposed to the Slack, but it works. I think it works out really well. So
yeah, and we're working. I don't like it. In general, like chat can be very disruptive, but we're communicating frequently enough where it's better than email.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, with clients, I don't like having a Slack channel with client work.
No.
But for this type of thing, it makes a lot of sense, because we probably ping each other back and forth like 20 times a day, and we would do that regardless. It would be email, it would be something, email or Skype or something. So
yep, exactly. So So yeah, I was supposed to record videos yesterday, but the video person was sick. So Monday I'm
Oh, okay.
recording more.
Batching, doing the high quality. How many of those do you do at a time now? Are you
26.
26? Holy cow!
Yeah.
It's like a whole day.
About 3 hours.
Oh, 3 hours. Wow.
Yeah, I do them pretty quick. I pretty much like, it's funny, like I don't cut. Like I just go.
Yeah.
So it's just pretty much just because I've been doing it for so long now. So that's it makes it pretty fast.
Do you still like stop and do edits and stuff like in like, or do you ever like stop and repeat a sentence or that
Nope.
kind of thing? Nope.
Nope.
Wow.
Just go.
Whatever happens, happens.
Yep.
If your cell phone rings, roll with it.
Exactly. Yeah, just roll with it. That's it. But yeah, so then we should have a bunch of that content because we ran out of that content. And then I'm actually going to probably record another session with them and do another 26. So that'll like last us a couple of like 3 or 4 months, I think.
Okay.
Then I have to find a new videographer in San Diego area, which
Oh, right.
be easy.
Okay. Oh, that's a
I've
good
got
idea.
my setup now. Like the only only really problem with my setup is I don't have multiple camera angles. I mean, I could
Mm,
set up 2 cameras with a remote, but I don't know. We'll see. Maybe eventually I'll do that.
yeah.
But I do
Yeah, I mean,
have.
you could.
Oh,
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. You'd have to have just 2 cameras with a remote start,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
the editor would edit them together. So,
But I've got my system working now. Like I've set it up here just to get it going, and it works. I've got a T5i that and I've got it's sitting on a tripod. It's pointed at my whiteboard, like focused on that
oh,
spot.
nice. Okay.
I've got a 50mm lens on there, so it's got the sharp focus, and then I've got a wireless audio system. So I've got
Okay.
like one of these, wireless,
Yeah.
transceiver packs, and I've got that hooked up to the camera, and then I've got the camera. I bought a charger that's so it doesn't run on battery. It plugs in, so the
Oh,
camera's
okay.
got constant power. And then I've got a nice long USB cable to be able to just like pull files off of there. So, and I've
Oh,
got a
sweet.
remote, like a clicker to start
Okay.
the recording. So I can basically like just shoot videos with very little, you know, friction. So
Nice. Yep.
we'll see. And then they're high quality ones. So I'll still do some iPhone and stuff like that just because like when I'm out and about, but I'll be able to do a lot more like just high quality ones from there. So, and I've got it pointed at the whiteboard, so I should be able to start using the whiteboard too. I think that'll be
Oh, that's cool.
good.
Yeah. Yeah, that will be nice.
And when we record like lessons for a course, I think that will come in handy too.
Yes.
So, yep.
Yep. What we should at some point we need to talk about timeline for that for our next product.
Yeah, I guess we've got. I mean, I I've got to get settled in.
Right.
So, by the end of March, I'll certainly be settled in, and then I could start going on content for that. And then
Yeah.
we still got the things on our plate for the things that are finishing up some of the small things that you're doing, and then
Hmm.
getting the how to market yourself sales
Yeah.
page and that
I
redone.
think that's probably going to take me at least another 3 to 4 weeks between the email sequence and the sales page.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but so sometime maybe it probably will be like the summer or fall, I would think, before we have a chance to launch that, right? How
I think so. Yeah.
how long do you think it'll take you to actually create it?
Well, if I just like heads down, I got to get the email taken off my plate too,
Mm-hmm.
so that I'm not spending too much time doing that. But if I'm just heads down working on creating it,
Mm-hmm.
the content, like if we're doing the entrepreneurial course,
Yeah.
I bet like 2, maybe 3 weeks.
Oh, okay. That's not too bad.
Yeah, it might even be less. I mean, because I could pump out a Pluralsight course real quick, but this is a
Yeah.
little bit different. And
Yeah.
I'm assuming that we'll probably would just do all video content for the main thing, and then have I don't know. We have to figure out what's all going to be in the bundle, like probably
Right.
some interviews and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
but as far as me just producing the video content, it shouldn't take very long at all.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and then we'll have to do the marketing and stuff, and that'll take a while.
When I launched How to Market Yourself as a Software Developer, it took me longer to set up the marketing and the
Yeah.
sales funnel and all of that stuff than it
Yeah.
did to actually create the course.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me, like, whenever I tackle a new product, it seems like we can pretty much bank on a month for like the video, like between the sales letter and the emails. Like that's kind of a good benchmark. Just seems like that's how long it takes me. I've done a bunch of them now, and
this will be a good one too to build our system for doing this too, because we really need to systemize this so that like when we're creating a new product, what steps do we go through? What process do we follow?
Yep.
What pages do we need? And what emails do we need?
Yep.
If we need to get it into like a system, because then we can start putting out, ideally we could put out like 2 or 3 products a year, maybe even 4 products a year. And that's when we'll really, really see growth, because we could, I think there's still a lot of opportunity with having that, because of the wide array of interests of our audience.
Yeah.
We can
Yep.
hit products all along that, and the more that you hit along that, like we talked about this before, but like if you get an email subscriber and you have one product to sell them, you might get like a 1 to 3% conversion rate if you're targeted. But if you have one email subscriber, and for that subscriber, and you have like 20 products to offer them, then now it might be like 30% of people buy something.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Yeah, and I think what's going to really help that work is the cross promotion strategy that we're going to use in the emails, because that's like, now it doesn't matter where people come in.
Yeah.
As long as they're relatively engaged in what we're doing, they're going to get exposed to everything that we're going to do. So, and it's all going to be on autopilot.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we don't have to like, because the trouble with having 20 products is now you have 20 products that you have to promote.
Right.
And so you can end up diluting, if you can only talk about one thing at a time in a given, in any given communication. So if you've got 20 videos and you're talking about one product, that's going to be more effective than talking about 20 products in 20 different products in one video each.
Exactly.
But if you can get cross promotion going, then that's a different ballgame.
I wonder if we can change the order. Well, I mean, advance. Like, I guess we don't have this problem now, but if we start building a lot of products, we'd want to segment the audience, essentially, like change the order in which they got pitched. Like,
we'd want to have tracks. I think we'd want to. I think what I'd like to see eventually is for us to have tracks where we know we have like an entry-level product for specific interests, and we sell that. And then when people buy that, we sell them the next thing in that track. And we kind of march people through the sequence that way.
Yeah, that makes sense. The product orbits that.
Yeah. Then you've got, and it's kind of like what we're doing now with even with the lead magnets. We've got a lead magnet that's like our free front end.
Right.
And then we have a back end that goes with that. So ideally what you'd want to have is a lead magnet that goes with a low price product, which goes with a mid-range product, which goes with a high-end product. And then you've got a chute that people can slide down, and they can go as far as they want to go.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And that's where you want to have those one-click upsells too, is because then you can take them right up the funnel if they want to go all the way to the top at the beginning.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm guessing like that, by end of March, maybe April is probably more realistic for when we'd be getting the new product.
Yeah. Okay. And probably what we can do would be to do some planning together, and then you'll go off and do your thing, and then, you know, kind of punt it over the fence to me, and then I'll do my thing. So
yeah, because we'll be able to work on that simultaneously if we work from the, if we plan on, like, I mean, planning, I think what you said, like starting with planning the sales page and the marketing efforts and the bundling, and then building the product backwards from there. So
yeah,
if we have the planning for that in place first, then you can go and implement that stuff while I'm implementing the course.
right.
And then we'll be ready to launch it. So
Okay.
yeah, but we still have, like I said, I think once we clean up all this other stuff that you've got on your list, and we've got the how to market yourself, then we'll be at the revenue point where we're stable and getting that sponsorship. Once we get, like, if we can land that, then we'll be in a good spot there. We're actually pulling enough profit, because we're on the edge right now. We're like, profit for January was like $500.
Yeah. well, keep in mind, this is the same thing.
Paying me.
Yeah, the same thing that I remembered though, which is that the sales, the quarterly sales kind of factor into that. So
right,
if we do a quarterly sale and make 20K, well then effectively our January profit was more like 4,000 or 5,000.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
that's true. So.
Yeah, that's the realization I had about me and my monthly bills. Is like, it's okay if I'm not. It's okay if I'm like $1,000 short this month, because we're gonna do a product launch, you know, and maybe make 300 grand together in the summer. So who cares?
Exactly.
But,
yep.
Yeah, I think I think we should see. I'm thinking that we're gonna be pretty soon. I'm thinking that for March here, we might be pushing 10K just in terms of what we already have.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty nice little jump.
10-step sale just came in. So
yay, the drought ends. So it's not broken.
We should check to see where that one came from, just to know.
Oh yeah, let me do that real quick.
This is a good test of our.
Yeah, let's take a look and see how bad is my system. Well, the problem with Drip or DPD is really the weak link for us right now in terms of tracking everything. So okay, 10 steps to learn customers. I'm gonna look at this. Yep, there it is, Mike. I won't say his last name on the air. Almost did. Okay, so we got. Looks like he visited your website for the first time. 10stepstolearn.com. Bought 10 steps course. Achieved conversion. Tagged correctly. Started the workflow correctly. Went through the utility, my little utility thing, which currently doesn't do anything if you're a customer. Started the nurture sequence, which is good. Now, I've been seeing that start twice, and I don't know why.
Oh, okay.
The nurture sequence has been starting twice for some reason, but so he got set to get, he got the RSS, he got subscribed to the nurture.
But he got removed from send long-term.
No. You're seeing the tag getting removed. That's a little confusing.
Oh, the tag is how it's like.
Yeah, the tag is, so that's my little abstraction. Yeah, so continuing my joke about Drip is now, Rob, I had a joke this morning that I pinged to John, that Drip is now officially a programming language because I created a workflow called utils. So now it's official. But so I'm using the messaging pattern basically. So I apply, because the Drip workflows, this was what tripped me up this week. The Drip workflows, if you add someone to the campaign and then remove them from it, it ends the workflow. So, which is just strange to me. I don't quite understand why that design decision was made, but you can get around that by just applying a tag, which we have an automation rule that just automatically kicks off the workflow. So basically, I'm using the tags as like a message bus in programming. It's a messaging pattern, so it decouples the workflows a little bit, and Not ideal in my opinion, but it works great. So
We don't have any way to know where this person came from originally
nope.
because their refer is 10 steps.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that is frustrating. I mean, he could have been somebody that was already on the list and chose to use a different email address when he purchased, or he could have been somebody that came from the website and clicked the products on the products page. He could have found it through Twitter. Yeah, there's just really no way to know.
Yeah.
The only like if we could get some level of visibility into conversion tracking on Google Analytics, that would help. We still wouldn't know specific people, but we'd be able to go look at it now and say, oh yeah, Mike, this guy, he came from wherever. So one thing I can do though is I can kind of get a sense for, oh no, this guy wouldn't, yeah, he wouldn't be on the workflow. He wouldn't be in our email course. So yeah, no idea where he came from. And there's no way to know.
Well, we can look at the goal completion and then
in Google Analytics.
I was looking to see and then what the source was, but
yeah, but that's going to say direct none. Every single freaking goal that we have says direct none for the source.
yeah.
So because
wonder
of the PayPal issue.
if it was paid for with PayPal, which I think it was in this case.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was PayPal payment.
Yeah,
So,
because like 80% of our stuff is PayPal.
It'd be nice to solve that problem.
I know. We should be supposedly the referral exclusions thing that you tried to do. You might want to take a look at that and try to do it again, because what that's supposed to do is prevent them from starting. The problem is they leave the website and then they come back and it looks like a new session.
Yeah.
And supposedly the referral exclusions is supposed to make it so that you don't see paypal.com showing up as a referring source anymore. And it's supposed to make it so that you don't see a new session start. So in most cases, in theory, Google Analytics should be able to connect the dots. But we are having zero success with that right now. And I don't know if it's DPD or
I don't think
or
that
what.
works. So the first part, I think you don't see the source come in, but I don't think it connects the.
No, but it's supposed to.
Are you sure?
Yes,
I
I'm
haven't
sure.
seen any.
Yeah, I've seen blog posts indicating. So the problem with using that approach is that you lose a bunch of data because some people close PayPal and never come back.
Well, that's
to the
fine.
site.
Some people
Yeah.
will do that, but that's still better than.
Right, that 80% would be way better than 0, which is what we get now.
Yeah,
so
I don't see where that.
It might be a good idea to just look at a blog post that walks through that and just see if there's anything that you did that you missed, maybe a step you missed, or I don't know. But
referral exclusions.
Oh, with 10 steps, part of the problem is probably that there's a separate analytics on 10 steps to learn site.
Well,
but no, the shopping cart should be using the 10 steps to learn code. So never mind.
You're supposed to go to admin account column, drop down to property column, click on tracking info. So there should be tracking info on there. I don't see tracking info. Oh, wait, tracking info. And then there's referral exclusion list. It's got 10stepstolearn.com.
Oh, I wonder if 10stepstolearn.com could be the problem.
Well, it does have paypal.com in there.
Yeah. Well, but if 10, okay, think about this. If we're excluding 10 steps to learn, that's where the referrals would be coming from. Right?
I don't know.
So we'd be referring from 10 steps to learn sales page to DPD. So right there, we're dropping that data.
I'll take 10 steps to learn off of there. PayPal.com is still in there. It's supposed to be PayPal.com, right? So that's configured properly.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that would be awesome if that was all it was, because because that would make sense, right? Because we're going from 10 steps to learn to DPD, and then from DPD to PayPal, and then back to DPD. And so right now, what's happening is we're going from 10 steps to learn to DPD, and we're saying don't count this as a referral. So.
Oh, it says that you're right. It says here, why does this work? When you add a domain to the referral exclusion list, it doesn't create a new session when someone visits one of these domains. In the case of users checking out with PayPal, Google Analytics will check the referring site, paypal.com, against this list. If it finds a match, it won't create a new session like it was doing before. Instead, the user session will continue with the original refer, and the transaction will be credited to the right source.
Yep. So maybe that's it. I guess we'll just wait and see what happens.
But I don't understand why having our site would have messed that up.
Well, because I'm thinking that it's dropping. We were maybe dropping data between DPD and our site because of that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure that's it, but either that or it's possible that the because did you have to configure the universal analytics tracking code and everything in DPD, or did you have to add variables or anything to the code?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
It's possible that's just set up wrong.
Okay, yeah, I guess we could go back and
like the cross site. The problem is I've never found a working example of it. Like I've never found anybody that pasted the freaking code that they created into their blog post. They're just like, oh, you need to add all this stuff. Like they'll give you snippets of stuff to add, but they don't show you what it all looks like at the end.
Yeah.
And so I wrestled with that, with the whole cross site.
Oh,
the other thing is
I think I understand that though. I kind of studied it for a bit.
Okay.
Cross-site linking, like.
Yeah. So that could be the other problem, is that the cross-site linking is not working properly.
Let me see what the integration is set up with on there. Well, you want cross-site link, yeah.
Yeah, it needs to be enabled.
A goal event, universal analytics tracking, and I've got it set up. I don't have anything set up custom in there. Are you sure we need cross-site linking on this one?
No.
What would we link to?
Well, we're having a cross-site link happen between 10 steps to learn and DPD, right?
Yeah.
So that data has to get passed from.
We want to see DPD traffic showing up in the. Oh yeah, we do. So I've got this set up for how to market yourself. Let me just take a look at that one real quick.
Yeah.
So
we might want to just wrap this up and
yeah,
troubleshoot our JavaScript code on a separate call.
There's like someone's gonna be like, no, tell me.
Well, we'll post incomplete snippets of it on the Entreprogrammers blog so that you can suffer too.
Oh, that's one thing we should briefly discuss before we wrap this up is, should we create a Slack channel, a paid Slack channel for Entreprogrammers that it's like $5 a month for listeners that want to?
I don't know.
Is that too much of a hassle? I mean, the monetary wise, is not going to be worth our time to like. I mean, but it's not necessarily that. I mean, we'd pop in there, I guess, every once in a while. I mean, Derek would be in there all day, but.
Oh, burn.
But
Derek and his lifestyle business.
But it would connect. But Entrepreneur community would be able to connect with each other.
Yeah, I don't know. We could talk about it. I still think a Facebook group would be better if we were going to do something like that, just because probably there would be more. It's a little less real time and interruptive, and there might be more participation.
That's true. Okay.
But
something to think about. Like, I forgot who had mentioned that, but
yeah,
it'd probably be worth doing. I mean, the Entrepreneur audience has grown enough that originally our idea was to build like the ability to connect people with mastermind groups, which that would essentially do. course, we're not running the mastermind group like with a formula anymore, but
Right.
so, but yeah. Anyway, all right. I guess we should do our thoughts for the week.
Yeah. I don't know if I have any thoughts for the week.
I've got a good one.
Okay.
It was a quote I heard. This is such an awesome quote. You don't have to light yourself on fire to keep everyone else warm.
Oh, I like that.
That's a good one, right?
Yep.
It's like, I think sometimes we get into that whole thinking of that we've got to fix everyone's problems, that we got to self-sacrifice to keep everyone else.
Yeah.
And you've got to break free of that and realize that it's like, there's a really good book called Boundaries, which is kind of talks about this whole idea. It's like, you got to have boundaries. You've got to say no.
Yes.
No, I'm not responsible for your happiness. I'm not responsible for, I don't owe you anything. I'm not obligated to you. We all own ourselves, and we own our own choices and emotional states. So sometimes it's important to remind yourself of that.
All right. So mine is that daily habits beat weekly habits, or daily habits beat weekly routine. I have had, there's a couple things that I've been trying to batch up. I did this with my emails at one point where I tried to batch up all of my emails and do them all on Monday. And it was kind of nice to not have to worry about them for the entire week. But what I found was that I got out of the groove. And so since I didn't have to think about them for the whole week, I wasn't thinking about them for the whole week. And for the first week or two, it went great. And I was able to write really fast and get them all done and everything. But then after that, it turned into a much longer, more painful, like writing them was a lot harder and more painful because my head wasn't in the game anymore. So I'd go a whole week without even thinking, and I'd realize, oh gosh, like I'm actually starting to run out of ideas, which never happens. Usually like I have an idea will come to me the night before, and I'll think about it a little bit, and then I'll think about it in the shower in the morning, and then I'll just sit down and bang. It just kind of all flows. But when you're doing them once a week like that, so that's not true for everything, but I'm finding for content for me that I'm trying to break stuff down into daily habits instead of trying to just get it out of the way once a week.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think, the more things that you can make into the daily habit, the better. And then plus also, like, there's a lot of pressure on you when you have it's once a week, because if you get distracted or you can't work that day or something happens or something comes up, then you've got a huge amount of pressure on you because that's the day.
Yep.
So,
yeah. So
cool.
Alrighty.
All right. Next time.
All right.